Get busy living or get busy dying. Shawshank mac and cheese, next. When your weekend's all spent up and you got Monday coming down the pipe, sometimes all you need is a little comfort to get you through to Monday. Mac and Cheese Movies. We believe in comfort food and comfort movies. Hello, welcome to Mac and Cheese Movies. I'm Scotty Coppage, and he's up for rejection next week, Joel Estes.
Damn right.
And he's a regular Sears and Roebuck, James Rumpfeld.
I do love Sears.
And from his studio that's as good as a
R.I.P.
one-bunk Hilton, Ben Rimmert.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Today we're going to talk about The Shawshank Redemption. In honor of Andy, Red, and all our friends, Joel made, well, Joel usually makes something great, and if we do a bad job, it's an accident. It's not what we try to do on Mac and Cheese Movies.
Yeah,
but today we took a left turn. Joel made a Prison Ramen Sandwich. Talk about it, Joel.
Dude, there's this... as a matter of fact, this was supposed to be completely different. I had the idea to make whoopie pies, which are the official state dessert of the state of Maine. And my oven went out literally yesterday morning. And had the guy come over and, you know, there was an electrical panel. He had to order it. Oven shot, can't do it. So we pivoted. And, dude, prison food is just... I can't explain the attraction I have to it. It's so vile. It's absolutely vile. It's horrendous. I mean, look at James. I don't think James is gonna forgive me for this shit for a really
It was
long time.
bad. I'm not here to kink shame you, man.
Dude,
but that was
man,
bad. That's just not my shit.
It's vile. But
Is this like a delicacy in prison?
no, I don't think they have delicacies in prison unless you count other prisoners. Maybe they would be considered delicacies.
But is this better than like the food they're getting? That they're making this, or they're just like hodgepodging stuff and seeing what works?
That's essentially what it is. Prison food. There's a YouTuber. His name's Lockdown 23-in-1. This is where I got all of these recipes from. And
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out to Lockdown 23-in-1. Seems to be doing really well. The first videos he had no shirt on, and then and the later videos, homeboy started wearing a shirt, so he might be doing better. And he was talking about doing stuff with his kids.
He was topless in the
seems to be
videos?
reformed. Yes, and like I said, check it out. It's
the
first ones.
watch 'em.
Yeah, the first videos, homeboy had nothing on, fully tatted out, and then the later ones he wore clothes and stuff.
He
so
woke up one day and
there
just
you
like,
go.
it's time
Was
to go
he
to
in
work.
prison?
It's Papa
Yeah.
So
this dude knew what he was talking about.
This guy's like a culinary.
No, not
genius
a culinary.
and,
this dude was inhaling this shit every time he made it. I mean, he killed. He would make prison nachos, prison pizza, prison tamales. I mean, all kinds of stuff.
It's got to be like one part like access and then like one part like boredom, I would think, right? Like,
yeah, you would think. But and this is the boredom part because this is some fucking wizardry. I don't know how they figured this out. To make the prison sandwich, y'all all saw what I did. I used hot tap water, opened up one side of the bag and filled the bag up and let it sit for like a minute or two, you know?
Sure.
And then you poured it out and then you made the bread out of the ramen noodles because you can pick the noodles up and open them up and it opens like a book. That's got to be boredom to figure out. Right.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
And that's where the coolness ended, unfortunately, because just check out the clip. We're going to have it on TikTok and YouTube.
Thank God Joel also brought us distinctively different Moxie Original Elixir.
Moxie is the official state drink of Maine, where this comes from. And
I thought it was butter for lobster.
It's also that.
Good one,
but
Ben.
yeah, me and
Thanks.
my wife and I went to Maine 8 years ago, and we were told as soon as you cross the border to go get whoopie pies and Moxie, and that's exactly what we did. They're fucking great.
Across the border where?
In Maine.
Into Maine.
In Maine.
Oh,
yeah,
but it's still the
we
United
went to Maine
States.
like 8 years. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
Yeah, as soon as you get into Maine,
Okay.
go find this stuff, and that's
Kinda.
what we did. Yeah.
Are whoopie pies good at least?
Yeah, whoopie pies are wonderful.
That's what he was gonna make.
I was gonna make that, and then my oven.
Don't
fucked
tell
up.
me about the delicious thing you were
So-
going to make.
I'm gonna
hey,
drink this
okay.
Moxie. I'm gonna see how this Moxie is.
Yeah,
go
let's
ahead.
jump on this Moxie real quick.
I had mine off camera. I'm gonna. You guys just trust me. If you've ever washed your shoes,
I mean, like,
the water left over from like washing your shoes, like in the sink, is
kinda
what a Moxie
tastes
Is
like
what the Moxie tastes like?
to be like,
I dig
like
it.
Trident gum somehow, some way.
Okay. That sounds like a good drink. I don't know, man. Maine's falling off for me.
Maine is wonderful. That's one of the best places.
This is
I've
their
ever
number one
been to.
drink?
Yeah, this is the official state drink of Maine. Yes,
I bet it's pretty
Moxie.
up there.
It's gorgeous. Yeah,
I don't know. I don't hate that at all, to be honest.
yeah. We love it.
It smelled like root beer. Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
It smelled like root beer, and then
Then you were thinking
I
about
was like, oh, root beer.
the like A&W or IBC or
Right.
something, and then it's something else. And
to me, is
but this is so much better than the ramen sandwich.
Way better.
What is not, dude?
after
what I'm
we
saying.
lowered the bar so
what I'm
low,
saying.
we had to bring it up just
Get
slightly.
after it.
And
and
this is
I
good.
think we thought that the cornbread for the Aliens podcast was
Yeah, it
the
was
worst
bad.
thing that
No one got
we've
to
ever
taste
done
it.
on
that
the
was definitely
podcast.
bad. That was bad, man.
Hey,
now
the difference
this is the lowest.
The difference is this was intentionally shitty,
Yeah,
Scotty.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
intentionally shitty.
It's true, yeah.
But Moxie,
I'm not going to put that on you, Ricky Bobby.
it tastes like a generic soda had a bastard child with sarsaparilla, and
I used to knew a girl named Sarsaparilla.
She was not.
Okay, I've had enough of this.
She was not
James, will you
smart.
put this away?
James, will you put this away? I'll be back. I gotta move Scotty's drink. It's my real role on the podcast.
Okay, so now we're gonna
Okay.
now we're gonna get to the Shawshank
the
Redemption.
Shawshank Redemption.
Please.
According to
What
the
is
legends
this?
of IMDb, I'm sorry, I can't do this.
Oh.
All of these IMDb storylines suck. Let me read a few in prose.
Hi, Goose.
A banker convicted of uxoricide forms a friendship over a quarter century with a hardened convict while maintaining his innocence and trying to remain hopeful through simple compassion.
Not
good.
Soricide?
I don't know what that word is, and I'm an English teacher.
Sounds like a Pokemon.
It does.
That's a good like.
It sounds like the shitty
I
evolution
teach English
of a
and I can't say
Pokemon.
this word.
This other one chronicles the experiences of a formerly successful banker as a prisoner in the gloomy jailhouse of Shawshank after being found guilty of a crime he did not commit. The film portrays the man's unique way of dealing with his new, torturous life. Along the way, he befriends a number of fellow prisoners, most notably a wise long-term inmate named Red. Okay, no.
Wow.
So what'd you got? What do you
Here's
got
what I
for
got.
us? What do you got
Banker
for us?
Andy Dufresne is convicted of murdering his wife and lover and is sent to Shawshank Prison, where he will serve back-to-back life sentences. Boom.
That is better.
That's all you need. It's someone better at IMDb.
How hard was that?
Yeah.
How hard was that?
I
How
don't
hard
know
is that
why they're
IMDb?
jacking this up. These are your top two on IMDb. Come on,
I want to
IMDb.
put my feet
Get
on
it
the
together.
table so bad.
That's why I don't take it as a credible source.
Please stop. IMDb's great. I
I
will
love
say though,
IMDb.
that seems to be the plague of this movie, which I'm sure we'll talk about. Is like nobody knew how to
And
talk
the
about
bitch
it.
about this is this is the number one rated movie on IMDb.
It's the best movie ever
Period.
made.
Yeah.
I'll say it right now.
Yeah.
It's the best movie ever made.
It is. It's
Fight me.
flawless. I've watched this 9 gajillion times. I can't find anything wrong with it.
If I have one
I
movie,
can't.
Desert Island, for the rest of my life, it's
Boy, you're gonna be
Shawshank
depressed.
Redemption. It's not depressing. That's
It's
the great
not
thing
It's
about
like
it.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off on repeat, bitch.
Fuck.
Everything's fucking great. I'm on a desert island.
I do love Ferris Bueller's
I
Day
got
Off.
dude, where's my car going?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, first taste, first time you saw the movie, your relationship to it. Why is it a mac and cheese movie?
For me, I grew up in a Stephen King loving household, and
Same. Thanks,
this was something that I read before I watched the movie because it's a short story and this collection called Different Seasons, and all 4 of the stories that are in Different Seasons are non-horror. It was like Stephen King's jump into writing like something different, and all 4 of them and 3 of them have been made into movies. You got The Body, which turned into Stand By Me, and you got Apt Pupil, which was Apt Pupil, and then you got Rita Hayworth in The Shawshank Redemption, which is this, and it's just great. I remember watching it on VHS at home. We didn't go to the movie
VHS?
theaters to see this. Yeah, we had those.
That's what
And-
poor. That's poor.
Yeah,
Program.
lower middle class all the way. Here we go.
Yeah.
When early night, I didn't have a DVD player until the 21st century.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I think my first DVD player was a PlayStation.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain that's how that translated.
I used to listen
anyway,
to music CDs on my PlayStation all the time because it had the interactive background.
Right.
I didn't even know you
Windows
could do that.
95
Yeah,
bouncing.
Wow.
Yeah, you're on PS3.
You can listen to old
but-
PlayStation games on a CD player
You
and
can
just listen
yeah,
to the
yeah,
music.
the soundtrack of it. You
Some
can.
of us used to jam to the Tomb Raider soundtrack riding around in our 1980
Yeah, he used
laser.
to jam all right.
Anyway,
Yeah,
that was me. Grew up in a Stephen King household.
Ben?
Honestly, I don't remember the first time I saw the movie, but it is in my giant DVD collection from when I was in the military. So it must have hit something with me for me to buy it. I remember that thinking, yeah, everyone, oh, it's a great movie. It's a great movie. But throughout the movie, there seems to be, I don't know if I call them milestones, but things where you're like, man, that's impactful. Man, that's like from in the courtroom, no, I didn't. Well, all the evidence is pointing to this. And he's like, yeah, I get it. But like, I didn't do it. And then, they meet him on the prison ground when the bus rolls up for the first time. And then he talks to Red for the first time. And there's just all these little, when they eat the food for the first time and it's not good or whatever. I just remember it being very, very impactful. And then, of course, I'm sure at some point we'll talk about the ending or whatever and how good it is. But, yeah, I mean, James and I had this conversation the other day. It's like, yeah, it's a good movie, but like, is it the best movie? And I'm like, no. Okay, well, what's the best movie? I don't know. I don't have another answer.
Name a better
I don't know. Like,
You
name
have
a
to,
better movie
yeah,
than
you have
that.
to find
Right,
reasons
so-
not to include Shawshank up there.
Yeah, just really impactful and memorable, I think, probably for a lot of people, I'm sure.
It isn't Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors?
No.
It's a good movie.
It's definitely
though.
not
I
that.
do like that
Not
movie
quite.
a lot. Not Shawshank good.
No.
I'm sure I saw this when it came out. I don't honestly remember my first viewing of it. I just remember the ending. I remember seeing the ending the first time and being like, what the... like Sixth Sense, like, blows your head off, kind of like, what? I missed that the whole time? It's so obvious.
When the poster came down for the very first time, yeah.
Yeah.
That was, yeah.
And just kind of trying to put together on my own, like, why it made me feel the way that it did. It wasn't just the reveal at the end. It's like, which we'll talk about, I'm sure, but like everything in this movie delivers in the way that you want it to. And you just leave feeling good, even though the movie is
it's
sad as
hard.
hell.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Until the end, anyway.
My mom took me to it. I didn't even know what the trailer was for it.
Great parents.
Just go in there. Yeah, it's really good. It's really, really good. And you know what? I kind of forgot about it. I kind of forgot about this movie. This is the year of Forrest Gump, Pulp Fiction,
Pulp Fiction,
94.
True Lies, 94, The Lion King, Speed, The Mask, The Crow, Maverick with Mel Gibson.
Great movie.
So let me give you a
Yeah,
list.
that was a great movie.
Let me give you
Maverick
some.
is a
Of,
good movie.
I'm gonna give you a list of some of the movies that made more money at the box office that year than Shawshank Redemption, Little Women, Winona Ryder,
Wow.
Baby's Day Out,
Baby's Day Out. Are
My
you shitting
Girl
me?
2,
I mean,
Oh my god.
The Shadow with Alec Baldwin,
Underrated movie.
I Love Trouble with Julia Roberts and Nick Nolte, Major League 2. We're going to be hard pressed to do
I
a
didn't know
movie
they made
that
a
is
second one.
regarded as one of the greatest films of all time, and it's 95th in box office that year. So it's what's incredible about this movie is like when it got to home video, more people were watching it. It was just dominating Blockbuster. But then when it gets on TNT, there's like a deal with like Ted Turner where he's got the rights to it, so he's playing it all the time. It has this real long tail, and like it's just really like almost the impossible story of how this movie became as widely regarded as it is.
That was one of the movies that was on like TBS or TNT or whatever
Yeah.
all the time. It was right up there with like A Christmas Story. I mean, you could always
Yeah.
bank on those two movies being on continuous rolling coverage at any
Speed.
point in time. And yeah,
I remember like loving it so early that I remember recommending it to people and then being like, I've never actually watched that movie before. It was like the best movie ever made, right? Because it punched me in the face so hard. Like I did
Yeah.
not see it coming. And I'm sure we saw it from like a Blockbuster rental situation or Aardvark Video where we lived because we didn't have a
Aardvark
Blockbuster because poor.
Aardvark Video.
Yeah,
we did.
Aardvark Video, man, we went there a lot.
Our video store was no shit called the General Store, which was a damn convenience store / pizza place / video rental
JJ's
place.
Video, baby.
Ben's favorite
And,
place. They have the best
yeah,
food there. 'cause
The
it's a gas
1,000
station.
people in the town, and that's where we got it. So shout out to the general store. It's still there. But
Of course it is.
Do we want to go into the ingredients now?
yeah,
Sure.
jump
Frank
into it.
Darabont, writer-director. Stephen King maintains a policy of granting newbie directors in need of a calling card the rights to his short stories for $1. In 1983, a 20-something Darabont handed King $1 to make The Woman in the Room, one of the few amateur short films based on his work that the author enjoyed. But Darabont's real obsession was a prison yard, Rita Hayworth in Shawshank Redemption. With his ultimate goal being a feature film, he waited till his resume, till he would be able to have a shot at doing this movie. And so his first produced screenplay credit was A Nightmare on Elm Street 3. And then a bunch of other crap. And he finally
A bunch of other crap.
A bunch of other crap.
he gets to the level where people love the script. Rob Reiner and Castle Rock are wanting to buy this script from him. They want to buy it for $3 million and have him not direct it.
That's gangster as hell.
Rob Reiner wants to
It is.
put Tom Cruise in it. He wants to do all this stuff with it. And Frank Darabont takes the deal to direct it, even though he's walking away from $3 million. He's walking away from all that financial security to make his dream kind of come true. And even though he's taking it, he knows that he can get screwed by the studio, and they'll be like, hey, things are not working out, and we just bring in Rob Reiner. But Rob Reiner was really good mentor to him and helped shepherd him and get this movie done, and it's really kind of amazing.
Oh, Reiner did help.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gangster
Yeah.
as hell.
But yeah, he
didn't
stayed
get,
on and kind of
pissed off.
mentored throughout
That's
everything.
awesome.
So basically, what you're saying, Scotty, is Frank Darabont chose to get busy living or get busy dying.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
With hey.
Yeah.
That's
He
really
wasn't
awesome.
hey, well, because they were giving him, we'll direct any other film. You can direct any other film you want to do. Let us have this script. And he stuck to his guns, and he was like, I'm doing this.
You had said the other day that, and I had kind of forgot about this, but I always think of Reiner from, damn it, now I can't even think. Princess Bride.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? It's my favorite movie of his. But he did the Stand By Me, and what's the other Stephen King one he did?
Misery.
Misery, right? So Rob Reiner is the Stephen King guy at this point, and the fact that
I think it's
somebody
safe
else
to
did
say
it-
that Darabont's probably passed him as the Stephen King guy.
Yeah, I
'cause-
mean, with this movie alone, but there's so many. It's like with bands, right? Their freshman albums usually their best one, and sometimes they're sophomore. Yeah, sometimes they're sophomore. But past that, they're gonna sell out and suck ass. So his first run at, making a
directing
big,
a feature.
yeah, and it's out of the park. But and I saw Ben kind of throw his head back when you said Tom Cruise. But he told me that the other day that they were wanting Tom Cruise, and you said Harrison Ford, right?
Harrison Ford is red, though.
I said that's a movie I would go see. And from Tom Cruise, one of the things that people now they know Tom Cruise as Tom Cruise, right? He's a caricature of himself.
Yeah.
Interview with the Vampire, Vanilla Sky, Last Samurai. Tom Cruise is a legit
Yeah,
badass actor.
sure.
He's a really good actor. He could have done this movie.
Top
It would have
Gun.
been a different movie. Top Gun.
Cocktail.
I was thinking about
Cocktail's great.
his performance in Eyes Wide Shut and how that's kind of subdued
I've
and
never seen
everything.
it.
Saw it. Yeah, I didn't see it.
And so I feel like he could have done this movie. He didn't want to work with a brand new director though. He said to Rob Reiner, "I'll do it if you kind of are making sure everything's really great on this thing." He's like, "No, this is this dude's vision. This is what you'd be doing."
Yeah, I think-
so.
I-
Tom Cruise went and did something else.
I think that's a testament to
Probably Interview with the Vampire that year, right?
when you have someone even
in
like
that
you could look at
area.
maybe chefs or something
Yeah.
like that. Having someone have the heart and the mind to be like, this is my thing, magnum opus or whatever you want to call it, versus selling out or whatever. I think it does make a difference. There might be an experience gap, but and I didn't know the backstory with Rob Reiner kind of helping him out a little bit. But it's like if you have that support, hey, go for this. This is your vision. Make it realized or whatever, versus just selling out and taking the money or whatever.
Right.
Would it be the same movie if he didn't do? You know what I mean? I know we're talking about switching actors out and things like that. Of course it wouldn't. But as far as the director and the ultimate vision for it, man. I mean, I don't know.
It's hard
I
for us
don't
to
know,
say that
man.
Rob Reiner is going to do better than what this movie ends up being.
Well,
Yeah.
I think there's this cool thing that happens with like, and I feel this a little bit at 43, 44 this year, where
You don't know how old you are?
no, I'll be 44 in November. I'm 43 now, but like sometimes a thing will come up with like our work, mine and Ben's work, where I think about at 25, there's a lot of things where I know how much work that's going to be, and I'm like, yeah, I would have just banged my face into it until it was as good as I could have made it, and now I'm like. I mean, I'll stand over here and be like, yeah, maybe this or maybe try this because I've been there before, but I don't want to bang my face into the wall a million times. Maybe that's where Rob
Yeah.
Reiner was.
Yeah.
I don't know how old he was when this happened, but
I mean,
'cause what
Darabont was 33,
okay,
so he was young.
yeah.
I mean, Rob Reiner's probably in his 50s at
Sure.
this point, I guess.
would
Right.
think, yeah.
And I think there is a thing past like 40 as a dude where you're like, you're not worried so much about your legacy anymore, and it's like,
He's already got it.
No, right.
Well,
Yeah.
Reiner was still putting out great stuff back
Sure.
then
Yeah.
because he put out a few good men like around that.
Like in 92.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a
around
good
that
movie.
time frame.
That's a good movie.
So he
Yes,
was
maybe.
still pumping out
R.I.P. Cuba
great
Gooding
stuff,
Jr.
you know.
Career.
But yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. But the thing that you're wanting, my point there is like, maybe Reiner looked at that situation and was like, you know what, let this kid make this fucking movie because
Yeah.
I don't really have the gas in the tank to, you know, I want
but-
to steal your energy.
But I'll be there to kind of, you might look at it this way, man. You know,
Right.
like I've been here or whatever. Kind
And
of
what
a-
does this do for Reiner if it hits? Like, does he have a better career? Like he already was on top of it all. Let somebody else get up there with
really,
you.
what the selling point was here is the treatment that Darabont wrote.
Right.
He wrote the script, and if y'all read the story, he changes certain things. He
Sure.
embellishes certain things. Like the part with Brooks was so small. I mean, it was like a paragraph.
Sure.
The role of Tommy was
Right. Small.
enveloped more.
Yeah.
And there was and Red wasn't black.
Right.
In the
Yeah, he's an Irish
book,
dude,
right?
right?
Yeah,
That's why he's red,
he was
red
actually
hair.
Irish. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
and the joke that
Right.
Morgan Freeman made was just
Right,
spot
yeah,
on.
it's
You
maybe
know?
it's 'cause
Maybe
I'm
because I'm
Irish.
Irish, you know. That he did so much to that story that fleshed it out and made it bigger into what it was. Like the wardens, there was 3 different wardens in the story.
Yeah.
He condensed them into one amalgam
Smart
of
move.
the same
Smart
warden.
move.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
what
so
was
good.
funny is the warden never aged. he,
Right,
He,
yeah.
he stayed the
Yeah.
same
He's
the
the
whole
same.
time, you know.
Yeah, right.
And
You know a
and-
guy like that, though.
Oh, dude, yeah.
That's always been
You
kind
see
of
him
the
in
same.
Hollywood all the time. Fucking Sam Elliott. He's been
Yeah.
the same guy for like 40 years, and just guys like that. But he did so much to this to make it great, just on black and white, just on paper, before anybody else ever put film to camera.
Is
you
this
know?
the first? Is this one of the first examples, like of maybe our generation of? I'm sure there's better ones, but like you're seeing it now with like comic book stuff. For me, where like they would try to make a comic book movie or a video game adaptation, right, when we were younger, and it was shit because studio execs that had no idea what the source material was, they're like, well, this would be better and this would be better, right? And now you have people like Ryan Reynolds specifically with Deadpool and stuff where he's like, no, what's the comic book say? Make the comic book, right? Peter Jackson from Lord of the Rings. Make what the fucking book says.
Last of Us.
It was already a
Based off the
smash
game.
Oh,
hit.
you mean like the adaptation?
Right. Like, use what the source material is
Right,
as your thing. Don't try to change it.
I th-
And maybe Darabont
Oh.
did that to a level of, like, what's the story say? But
Yeah. He's not beholden to like
I think
the source
the book to
material in this
movie-
like major way.
Right.
Right. I think the book to movie translations, as opposed to like the comic book to movie translations, are going to be way different because there's been book to movie translations done forever.
Yeah.
You know.
I think books are way harder to do that with. What I'm saying is, like fleshing Tommy out for the movie is the right call because Andy needs a catalyst.
Right,
Right.
right.
He can't be a small paragraph mention. You have to be able to see that relationship develop. I feel like he made the right decisions with the source material to blow it out. Anyway.
Right. This was a lot easier to do because the original short story is only like 80 pages,
Yeah.
maybe. So there was a lot more that you could sit there and embellish and change to make fit what you needed. It wasn't like a big tome, 800-page novel that he has to condense down to 120 minutes. You know?
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, oh, Peter
Impossible
Jackson,
task.
dude. Yeah, that's why the director's cuts.
And then there's always some. There's always some asshole that's like, it wasn't as good as the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, was it not as good as 1,000 pages? No shit.
You got, like, you got like the yellow cliff note fucking book.
Right.
You're like, Shawshank's pretty good, man. 80 pages. I got it.
But what Darabont did with the other two as well, like the Green Mile, whenever he adapted that, it was ridiculously close to the book. And The Mist, whenever he did The Mist in 2008.
I remember.
It was, that was also a short story. I can't remember what it was from. Maybe Skeleton Crew. It was in one of those short story, things in it. Oh, The Mist is...
Dude, I'm telling you, I told you that. I was on the ship
me
deployed in the middle of the ocean.
But you saw the part you shouldn't have watched.
And it's just like, here's the car. They all kill themselves.
Here's the ending.
And the whole time you're like, you're just like tuning in, like, oh, what's on TV? And you're like, what the fuck? Like, what did I just watch? What is this?
And that was another part of what Darabont's genius is. That didn't happen in the book, period. And Stephen King came out and said that was the better ending.
Yeah,
and that's what he was allowed to do with smaller sample size stuff that he was able to translate into a full feature film, and just genius.
And we're going to talk about the casting with Tim Robbins. Tim Robbins was...
That was a great cast.
This is his
Mission to Mars.
This is his peak.
That was a good movie.
He's also, he's talked about how there are very, very few films that are about friendship between two men that doesn't involve car chases or being charming with women and those kind of buddy movies. That this movie's really kind of in its own, well, like a unicorn, like one of one kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's a heterosexual life mate kind of thing,
Yeah, it's like, well, we
did
that. We did that episode on swingers and talk about how like it gets guy friendship in a way that it you don't see a lot in movies because it's always a buddy cop movie or it's like really macho
or Lonesome Dove,
right?
Which is my absolute favorite.
Or Friday.
Romance kind of.
Friday is a good ass movie.
Yeah,
about friendship. When you talk about like male friendship in this movie, there's for me the thing that I thought about the other day when you said that, at any point Andy could have said to Red or Red could have said to Andy, "I love you," right? And it wouldn't have felt out of place or weird. I wouldn't have read anything else into that because these dudes have been each other's like plus one for 20 years at this point, carrying each other through all this bullshit. It is a really good adaptation of how close you end up getting to a guy that you're like-minded with. And in real life, we don't really get that outside of our siblings or like somebody that you work with for a really long time or something like that.
And it's tough to have that kind of relationship unless you're in close quarter area, kind of like
for 20 years and that hard time.
Right? Yeah.
This guy's like, I only have that relationship with my dad.
What?
You just have we're always jealous of your relationship with your dad because it's like really good. Like you guys
is the most supportive fucking
yeah.
person.
Every story you tell, it's like, well, my mom wrote me or my dad wrote me a song about. It's like, even if he didn't write the song, the fact that you loved him enough and he loved you enough that you believed that, like, god damn, dude, I was crying over here. I think you see this kind of dynamic a lot in the military where you're put in a place and you're like around this person or these people all the time through all your like normal shit, like you're living with somebody, you're eating together, a lot of times you're showering together, like all these different things.
Gay.
But in the military, then you leave that person and you don't see him again ever your whole career. And you do that a couple times and it's like, okay, this is just a weird thing. But these guys are with each other the whole time, which is why when Andy gets out, you're heartbroken for Red. You really are fucked up, or I was anyway, but I think most people are. And we'll talk about that, I'm sure. But what happens to Red now? Like, we just pretend like that didn't happen? Like, why would he not take him with him? Anyway.
There's no way.
It's kind of like a dead weight kind of thing. You know,
he's a piece of shit. Andy's a piece of shit.
Hot take.
And
Andy's a piece of shit.
Really, what needs the elephant in the room here is this story would have been completely different had Andy not had the fucking cell at the end of the hall.
That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. If he didn't have any other cell, this movie isn't even happening.
No, he's done. I mean,
you're working for 10 years, and it's like, oh,
I guess you could have tunneled down.
Yeah.
I don't know. Even then,
and then he probably gets shanked after the warden decides to retire, and that's in roll credits.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. I mean, as soon as the warden retires, Andy's a fucking dead man.
He was
I mean,
already
that's-
getting like old.
He kind of
and, like,
won the lottery with that cell, man.
dude
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
Did
yeah.
he, or like they don't talk about that, but like that's kind of the beauty of that character, right? Like maybe there was you got to think if he did 20 something years in prison, which is what the movie says, the book says, and you now Mandy was talking today about like how popular prison stuff is just in like reality TV and stuff. Now they have like all these love shows and all that.
Love shows?
Yeah, like Love After Lockup and different things like that.
Whoa.
Sounds like Mandy. Checks
Yeah,
out.
it's like
That's some TLC shit,
yeah,
man.
she watched a lot of reality.
That's coming
TV,
on right
where
after
they're like
Honey Boo
dating
Boo.
somebody that's in prison and then they get out. They're documenting their life. And guess I'll skip to the end. It's always a shit show. But
Oh my God.
anyway, in the course of Andy's 20 years in that prison, I guarantee you there's conversations about like we got to move Dufresne, right? You don't get to stay in a fucking cell for 20 years in the same
Oh,
cell.
yeah.
But
I didn't
Andy
think-
probably
That's a good, yeah.
orchestrated that where like I need to be in here, and he's got this dynamic with the warden where Andy probably orchestrated more of him being in that cell than it wasn't lottery. I don't think. I think Andy
I mean,
manifested.
but he
that.
got it the day he got
He did,
there,
sure,
right? But keeping
sure.
it, yeah, sure, I understand, yeah.
Him figuring out that the walls were weak in his specific
Yeah,
cell.
which I was talking about was not intentional.
Right.
He's like, oh, I'm getting the rock hammer, and you're like, oh, he's going to, not right then and there, but, he's carving his name, Andy, and then it,
And then
chink,
chunk.
and then he's like, oh, shit, I'm just going to go right through this.
Yeah.
It took him 20 years, but,
Manifest destiny. A little bit.
yeah, man.
Carpe diem,
But less,
if you will.
but less violent, I think,
DM.
probably.
That was one of the things I've seen in comment sections while I was researching this thing, is how like unrealistic this movie is from a prison standpoint.
Yeah,
because
sure,
it was basically like a Norman Rockwell version of a prison.
Sure.
And there was my wife and I were talking about this. There's no racial segregation. I mean, because you got black guys, you got white guys, you got all kinds of, but they're not in gangs. You don't see any Aryan brothers. You don't see any of this other stuff. But it's all kind of like a Norman Rockwell prison.
Are there any other
You
dudes besides white dudes in this whole movie besides
There's the
Freeman?
black guy.
There
There's the black
was-
guy that's
yeah.
like, hey, Red. And he like has the package for
Yeah.
Andy.
And
And he's
Oh,
smuggling in the
you're
laundry.
right,
and Morgan
right.
Freeman's son actually makes a cameo in this.
He's like the,
Yeah,
he's
he's
like
the
the young,
mugshot
he's the
from the young
mugshot.
guy.
Yeah, and he's also the fresh fish kid. Whenever they're the black guy saying fresh fish.
Oh,
and
yeah.
But
everybody-
definitely
that's
during
him.
that time, they would have had it segregated.
Right, but there's no like, you don't hear about this versus that, and I mean, really, you hear about the sisters.
What Shawshank
Yeah.
got wrong about prison.
Well, but it's a fictional fucking movie.
Yeah.
man.
It's
Right,
also
right,
it also
right.
takes
Hey,
place.
hey,
in the-
Redditors, give it a fucking break.
It also takes place in the 20s.
I don't know. We can edit it out.
Oh, it's north. Yeah, yeah.
North. It's not
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. That is a good point.
Maine.
Yeah,
The fact that it takes
it's
place in
Maine.
Maine and not off camera.
Not
advice from
Alabama?
Ben's wife Sarah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. If Shawshank's in southern Alabama or in Mississippi, it probably is a different fucking story.
Yeah, you would. I didn't think about that.
Good point.
Yeah, geographical.
All right.
Yeah, okay, I can buy it. Yeah, we're
Bought
good.
it.
Yeah,
Already bought it.
The Mainers were freaking awesome people. They were really nice.
And friend of the show, Mark Ralston, is
Yeah.
Boggs
Yeah,
in Shawshank.
Boggs
It
Diamond
is,
Man.
And like what I
What
love,
a
Drake from
D-bag. What a
Aliens?
D-bag.
what like
So scary.
Is he? Is Mark
he
Ralston
is.
in Departed?
He is. Yeah,
great movie.
I did not.
He's
know
in
that.
Departed?
he's in the
Is
Departed.
he's got to be a cop or something.
No, he's an undercover cop, but he's like in Jack Nicholson's gang.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, but like Mark Ralston,
Oh,
in
is
this-
he-
like as Boggs,
Like Billy Zane
He's,
in
he's
Back
the
to the
original like kind of villain in this movie, trying to rape Andy and everything, and then like he is, what does Red say? It's like Tim Robbins says, suppose it wouldn't matter if I told them I'm not homosexual, and Red says,
You have to be
well, neither are
human
they.
first.
You have to be
Yeah.
human
Yeah,
first,
yeah.
and just kind of these monsters, and like anytime like when Andy's in the hole, when they open up the light, it's like but like when Boggs is in the hole and they open up the door,
He's fine.
he's unfazed.
Yeah, he
he's
doesn't have that same
unfazed
rea-
because he's
yeah.
in the darkness and everything, and like
I did not pick
he's
up
just
on
like
that.
like
Very
his,
symbolic.
Yeah, very very symbolic.
his performance is not like real big, like kind of like big tough guy strong, but it's like menacing.
He's not the
He
biggest
was
guy.
probably he was
He's
probably
not the
on screen
biggest
for
guy
like
in the
6
gang.
minutes,
There's that other
7
guy in the
minutes.
gang who's like
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
yoked.
Yeah,
We're talking about
he
that.
was
We're like,
yoked.
Tim Robbins in the shower, and he's like, "Hey, what's up?" And Tim Robbins like, "Yeah, I'm out." And then the other dude's like, "Hey, what's up?" I was like, "God dang, dog, you ain't gonna win that fight."
Tim Robbins is
You
a
ain't gonna
big
win that
dude
fight.
too.
I think he's like
I can be a
6'6"
friend
or
to
something.
you.
Yeah.
I don't know how big. I don't know how big Mark is, and I wanna ask him about that. His character choice, but like even in like me and Scotty were talking about that in Aliens as Drake. Even though there's this whole division of badass Marines, he's not like screaming and charging. He's very understated. Boggs is so scary because he never raises his voice. Yeah. He's never flexing and trying to freak
Scott
you
and I
out.
were talking yesterday about that, and same deal. It's like, I like it when you fight,
Right,
You know
exactly.
what I mean? There's no like.
He's always like half squinty, like, okay, like what is this dude's deal? Also, why is
It's almost like he's there's nothing but time.
right? Sure.
There's nothing but time.
This is
like,
a slow. It's a
yeah,
slow burn
exactly,
for this
right?
guy
Like,
that.
This is a long
I might
game.
not get you
I'm playing
today.
the long game.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll get you tomorrow. I'll give you 4 years
encounters-
from now.
And the fact
like,
that that's his kink is what's fucking scary. It's like, oh, he's just gonna wait me out.
And Andy's just one of them. Who
Right.
knows how many other marks he has
Right.
in the prison?
But the whole group of dudes that's following him, they're afraid of Boggs. Like that's apparent in the movie. His gang. There's a reason he's the leader, and physically looking at him, it makes no sense. So you have to assume there's all these other diabolical things. Anyway, he crushed.
I
he
mean,
crushed
he wasn't
Mark.
Yeah.
He
gonna
crushed
stick a
that
knife
one.
in his ear.
And
So-
like the scene where Hadley like is beating the shit out of him and like pulls him into the cell.
Oh, man.
And like the look on his
Yeah.
face
Yeah.
is so,
Yeah.
like I feel sorry for Boggs.
That's
In that
probably the
moment.
one
I'm
person-
not like yeah.
But
let's-
he's grabbing onto
you
the
know,
bars.
yeah,
and like,
he's
grab
holding
his
onto the bars.
ankles.
Yeah,
That's probably the one person in Shawshank he was truly afraid of.
And he never
Sadly.
walked again.
And yeah, he
Supposedly.
never
Spent the rest of his
never,
days drinking his meals out of a straw.
yeah.
Speculation, but
Yeah. I think when you were talking about Stephen King, one of the great things about him is, and everyone only ever thinks about him for like diabolical horror or whatever. Most of the time, at least we see like modern, right? Like for the Marvel franchises, oh, the heroes are so great. And then like, the villains kind of suck. King is so good at writing villains and heroes. The heroes in this movie are people that you would aspire to be like, hope that you could be like, and you care about them. And the
Dude.
villains are scary as
His
shit.
human villains are fucking diabolical.
Always.
I mean, they
throwing that word out a lot.
always
That's
dude.
the
yeah,
sandwich,
It's
the warden, Hadley.
There's a lot of diabolical in this
I mean,
episode.
there's a lot of diabolical in it, but King has this way of putting like this absolutely evil twist, and
He makes normal things terrifying.
exactly, and a lot of his villains, like the human villains. I mean, we're not talking about monsters or evil clowns or whatever. They have like this weird twist, like they'll be overtly racist,
Sure.
or they'll be just horrible in one way, or like Annie in
Flagg.
Misery.
Yeah.
The way she just never fucking stopped. She wanted that book, and she took it. She beat that guy down till he did what he wanted her. And just has this way of his human villains are just overtly evil.
And he doesn't even, like, he covers, Red's a different kind of hero than Andy is.
For sure.
The Warden is a different kind of villain than Boggs is, than Hadley is. They're all like these slices of like the worst kind of person, but they're not 100% that.
Right.
And I think it gives you this really broad palette of people that you're rooting against and rooting for.
And the warden, like, he's like, I won't accept blasphemy in my prison. And it's like, that's his
the
whole
best.
freaking deal. That is everything you're doing is blasphemous. Like all, at first you think that he's let's try to find something a little more suited for your education. You think, maybe Andy's getting a cut there, getting a little break. All right, awesome. But then like, the warden's into this huge corrupt like business. Then he's like killing Tommy. He's doing all this
you're gonna
stuff.
do the W-2s, and then you're gonna cook the books
Yeah.
after that. Yeah.
So
And then won't let him
You
go.
will stop when I say you stop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
won't let him go.
And then he you're never gonna get out of here. You're never gonna get out of here. Because I think that's when this movie kind of starts. Because this movie kind of becomes. It could be just like, hey, this guy made this is how he made the best of his prison time kind of movie, and this movie's still good. But then that last hour of this movie, when Tommy shows up and like the cook in the books, and then like the warden, like, oh yeah, you're never gonna get to leave, and then like we have this. It's not even like a twist because it's there for us the whole time. That he's gonna escape and he's gonna get out, and like we don't even see the escape in real time. It's like the next day we know that he's gone. So it isn't like most movies where in real time we're seeing it, we're feeling the pressure, but you feel all that adrenaline just in like the recap of what was going on after we know that he's gone.
Yeah.
And that was the best part about what they did with that. It was ridiculously understated. They actually filmed a lot more about Andy's escape. You know, the more through the tunnels of shit he crawled through, and he was supposed to hop a train and hop a bus after he got out, and they ended up cutting all of it, but they filmed every bit of it. But what they did with that, whenever he landed in the water, he had his moment, you know, and then all of a sudden the next time you see him, he's strolling into a bank, cool, calm, collected.
That's great.
You know, dressed to the nines, and
I think there's a subconscious thing that happens with Andy for us is that, and I think what that is that everybody wants to believe that they have a great final act, or at least a great second act, right? I'm not as good as I once was, good once as now as I ever was, right? Like by the time you're with Andy, he's stood the library. He's never getting out of prison, right? He's not getting out. He's made the best of his life there. He's got a best friend. He's got a solid crew of people around him. He's a good guy. He's done some positive things for the community, even from inside. You kind of don't want him to escape. You're good with where he's at because he's made a place for himself. So then when it starts to get like fucky and you realize like, oh no, it doesn't matter how much good he does there. He's in there with the sodomites, right? Like this is a terrible place. It's diabolical. Then you start rooting for him to escape. That's never going to happen.
You think he's gonna kill himself? That's
right, exactly right.
Yeah,
they set it up.
Yeah.
It's so purposefully.
Give him the rope.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, why wouldn't I give him a rope? You know?
Yeah, he asked for one, they're like,
Darabont
holy
got
shit.
you with the okey doke, man. He was like, you know, look at this, and then came back and definitely for sure.
It just delivers so much. I think that's why it's everyone's favorite movie. It's because there's not a thing at the end of that movie where you're like, oh, I wish this would have happened. I wish this guy would have got his, you know, or I wish this guy would have won, because all of that happens.
Right.
I was just rooting for Jake the Bird the whole time.
Yeah. Well, good news is I
hope
think
he's
he
doing
got
well.
out and led a full life.
Here's the worst part. Jake got a much better ending than what he got in the book. Jake the Bird was really he wasn't owned by Brooks either. He was owned by somebody else. They call him the Birdman. But anyway, he let Jake go, and they ended up finding Jake outside the prison walls. You know, outside the gate.
Dead, right? Yeah. Because
dead.
it was like a I can't think of the word.
Metaphor
For
symbolism.
You can't make it out.
They like hung out in the prison yard with
Yep.
Jake in this area, and the bird went back there and died.
Yep.
The end. By Jake.
There was a Birdman of Alcatraz, by the way. It
Yeah,
was a
they
person.
in the book
Yeah,
they
it
call
was
him
based on
Birdman.
it.
Or, yeah, but
Okay.
Press on, Scotty. We're waiting on
We're
you to lead
moving
us out
on.
of that, man.
Okay. Remix the ingredients.
Okay.
Okay. Offers went out to the 90s usual suspects for the part of Andy Dufresne. Tom Hanks and Kevin Costner pass. Tom Cruise didn't want to do it with like a new director. They wanted Clint Eastwood or Harrison Ford or Robert Redford for Red.
All great.
They wanted Brad Pitt for Gil, for Tommy. But he was, I don't know what he was doing
Thelma
then.
and Louise.
Thelma and Louise, Brad Pitt
Yeah.
could have done that.
But he,
Yeah.
you know, he was like kind of like a big enough star at that point that like he can't take that kind of small role. So I mean, I think Gil Bellows is great. I kind of
great.
wish that he was like a bigger star. I think he had an okay TV career.
Yeah.
I was about to say I don't remember seeing him a whole lot. I mean, you would see him pop up as like a character kind of thing,
Yeah.
you know, here and there, but I don't remember seeing him a whole lot afterwards.
I
after
told
that
him,
movie.
and I pick him a lot for stuff, but like if I'm recasting Andy, I don't think a lot of people could have got it right better than Robbins did, but I think Viggo Mortensen could have pulled it off.
What was Vigo doing back then?
I don't know.
Well, he's
like-
in Crimson Tide, 1995.
Yeah, I mean,
I
he
mean,
was
he
the
was,
same.
wasn't
He's
he?
about the same age as Robbins too. So
Yeah.
like, he could have done it. he's great at like. I can't think of a Viggo Mortensen movie that like I didn't cry at. Like he's amazing.
Did
in
you cry in Eastern Promises?
Lord of the Rings.
Probably. Oh, I cry at the end of Lord of the Rings, the third one, Return of the King, every single time. When the hobbits or when he bows to the hobbits.
You bow to no one.
If you don't tear up there, I don't know that you have a soul. Good luck watching Captain Fantastic or The Road. It's the saddest fucking movie I've ever
Captain
seen.
Fantastic is
Road
great.
definitely, yeah.
The dude Hidalgo. You don't cry on Hidalgo. Viggo Mortensen is incredible. Anyway, I think he
Hidalgo's
could
okay.
have.
I don't
The
like it
road, the road was a fucking punch in the gut.
Yeah,
the
the road's
entire
hard.
time.
And then I had somebody
Cormac
else.
McCarthy's.
Oh.
Whew.
R.I.P. recently.
Yeah.
And it's just I don't know what the term would be. It's not even convenient. It has nothing to do with the fact that they cast Morgan Freeman even though he was black, and that was not what they would have gathered from the book, and it was absolutely the right call.
Mm-hmm.
I think James Earl Jones would have been incredible as Red. I think he
Yeah.
could have been fine as Red.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We're in that
Yeah.
kind of Field of Dreams
Sure.
era
Mhm.
phase of James Earl Jones' career.
But
He's Mufasa at that
Yep,
point.
same year.
Same year.
He was the old man in the Sandlot.
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
Around that time frame,
Yeah.
you know.
But this movie cemented Morgan Freeman narrating the rest of your
This-
life.
this-
Morgan
this-
Freeman was God
he's
from
like
here on out.
he's like
for sure. Yeah.
superstar status rest of his life after that.
Yeah.
And he's like a guy who never felt comfortable that he had made it.
Yep.
So he kept making like 3 or 4 movies like a year, like, you know, thinking, hey, just kind of working on projects, and some of the projects aren't like that good because he's just like he's like Michael Caine. It's like this could be over like next week,
Right.
you know. So he's like they have that mentality of like I'm just gonna keep doing projects, I'm gonna keep doing stuff. But I mean, he gets this, and he gets an Oscar in $1 Million Baby. He doesn't get the Oscar for this. Martin Landau for Ed Wood gets it
Which I never saw.
over Morgan Freeman in this movie, over Samuel L. Jackson in Pulp Fiction, and Martin Landau it's good, it's fine. It's not as good as these performances.
No.
And it's just like it was like a hey, you did some awesome work in the 50s. Here, let's give you this.
Like Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
He finally got his.
Revenant.
Out of
For the
all
Revenant.
the fucking
For the
movies, I'm
Revenant.
like, yeah,
Revenant was
okay,
the Revenant.
I guess, man. I guess.
And that's the bitch about it is the Revenant is the one DiCaprio movie I can't watch twice.
Yeah.
I watched it once in the movie theater. I was fucking blown away, and I'm like, I'm never watching this again because
I
it
have
was
a lot of those.
excruciating.
Not
if I would have described
It was
blown away, but-
excruciating.
He should have won one for
Excruciating.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall Street, but I
God
thought he was
damn,
better
yeah.
in
Basketball Diaries.
Tarantino's last one. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, hell
Once
yeah.
Upon a
Oh, that was a good one.
Shit.
Oh, he is
He
great.
should have won one
is
for
great.
What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
He should have won
There
one.
you
for
go.
That's a fucking
There you
movie.
go.
He should have
Yeah.
won one for Basketball Diaries.
That's what I said. That's what I just
That was
said.
like his first movie, dude. He's
Yeah.
incredible.
He should have won one for The Beach.
Absolutely.
No.
Yeah.
I'm joking. Y'all are throwing up different movies about
Yeah.
like what he should have gotten an Oscar
Nice.
for.
I actually
so I'm
forgot
throwing
he
out
was
his,
in Juliet.
I'm throwing out his like
Romeo
his like
Juliet.
outlier
I love that
movie.
movie.
Yeah. And John Leguizamo could be Best Supporting Actor.
From The Pest. You know him from The Pest.
Let's give him an Oscar for his TV work in Growing Pains.
Yeah. Nice.
And from the movie Spawn, John Leguizamo.
God, I had somebody else for Red in mind too, and I can't remember. Anyway. it doesn't-
Oh, while we're on the subject, Samuel L. Jackson is Red. Do you think that could work? Yes or no?
I say
Yeah.
no.
I say yes.
Why do you say yes?
Has he ever done a dramatic role?
He's done a lot of dramatic roles, but I don't-
because he's like Morgan Freeman too, and like Michael Caine. Like
He was in
all
that
his
movie
projects.
Juice with Tupac. You got the juice
Christ.
now.
Yeah.
Oscar.
Thanks, Ben.
He's also coming to America, like robbing the McDonald's.
Yeah,
He,
Yes.
now,
Same role.
The reason I think he can, because I remember seeing him in a one-act play with Tommy Lee Jones, and it was just Samuel L. Jackson
Yeah.
and the Sunset Limited. I want to say it's called. We'll have to look that up. But
Is it like
anyway,
a bus stop.
no,
Okay,
it's
never
just them two in an apartment, and they're acting shit out.
Yeah.
And it's literally just Tommy Lee Jones and Samuel L.
I
Jackson.
mean, I'd watch
and
that
they
because
fucking
of who's
kill
in
it.
it.
You saw this?
Yeah, it's great.
My
I
thing-
want to say it's called the Sunset Limited. I could be wrong, but it's all it is.
Don't worry, the
is
Redditors
just,
will be all over
Yeah,
it.
yeah, absolutely. The one, it's a one act play, just Tommy Lee Jones and Samuel L. Jackson, and I think he could pull off Red just based on that.
I say no. I haven't seen this. I say no because there is an intensity level with Samuel L. Jackson that
Same.
he's Samuel L. Jackson, even when he's not trying to be, is always a little scary. Like I always think he could just beat the shit out of me at any moment.
My thoughts on that exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman's gonna give you a hug.
He's a great actor. You know,
He's an incredible actor.
He's got some range, but yeah, I'm always gonna be like kind of, and Morgan Freeman's just like relax and just. There's no hope. We're just in this bitch, man.
Right.
Live your life, dog.
Right.
You know, like. But in a calm Morgan Freeman way.
There's no way Samuel L. Jackson as Red lets Andy escape without him. He's like, no, we're fucking doing this.
He'd have been
together.
like, shit, you gave her a rope? What the fuck? Morgan Freeman's more like, I'm concerned about this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Samuel L. Jackson's like, you gave him motherfucking rope last night?
Motherfucking rope. Got too many ropes in that motherfucking sail.
I hit it last month with Leslie Mann. I was like, that's my remix. I'm never going to hit another
Dude,
one.
yeah, that was the
was
Leslie Mann remix was absolutely perfect.
Can't do it.
Yeah, it was great.
At the beginning of this movie, Red is trying to be like them in the parole hearing, being like he's telling them what he thinks they want to hear.
Yeah,
and
I'd say
everything.
rehabilitated.
And he's completely different at the end. And those two scenes are incredible. I think in most movies, those two scenes probably are the best scenes in the movie. But this movie is so near goddamn perfect that it's kind of almost like it's just part of. It's like a deep track almost. You know, I mean.
Is it?
It's go ahead and stamp your form, Sonny. Because
Yeah.
I tell you what,
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But isn't that how you want to, like, nobody wants to, I mean, maybe there are people that do, I don't know. But it's like, do you want to become famous for the dumbass thing that's popular that you did and now you're, smash the egg on your face guy? I just did that to be famous. This isn't what I wanted to be known for. Or do you love it when somebody lands on their feet after a long period of time of sticking to what they believe in, right? Like, or
What are you talking about?
Because it's
What are you
like,
talking about?
let me explain. I'm going somewhere with that.
Is it kind of like a Walton Goggins kind of thing?
A little bit. Like, Red finally is like, he's never going to get paroled. He doesn't give a fuck at the point. So he says what's true to him. Like, he does the thing that's what's true to him. He's not trying to make them believe what they want to hear. He's not telling them what he wants to hear. He says what he thinks and what he feels, and in that moment he wins. He becomes famous, right? He doesn't smash the egg on his face. He says, like, yeah, you're going to stamp your fucking form. This is all a bullshit system anyway. And they're like, oh, maybe you have been rehabilitated. That feels really good. If he had got paroled telling them what they wanted to hear, that would have felt like shit. Is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
What's
I'm terrible
neat-
at explaining
Okay.
things.
If you see, you can also see the evolution in the parole board period.
Yeah.
Because whenever he
Yeah,
walks in there, the
yeah.
first thing they do is say, sit. And then the second time he walks in there, like, sit down. And then the third time they say, please sit down. So
Yeah.
they're like, if you go back and watch it, those three things happen. And you see the evolution in, everything coming down, so they become more lenient, more, PC, I guess.
Sure.
And
PC in the 1950s. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
but sometimes people are out of time.
But also, he's an old man at that
Yeah.
point. You know.
Yeah. And well, that was some other things that we were thinking about. Is kind of like the timelessness of this entire thing, because they don't really mark time. Whenever they come
Oh,
in.
and these actors don't really age.
They kind of do
in
with the
a-
posters, I think.
Yeah.
They go through like the decades of like with the posters. There's some pop culture things I think that date a little bit.
I remember them mentioning Kennedy was shot. I remember that specifically.
he says that.
'Cause, yeah.
He says that, like, beautiful line in that moment where he says, I don't remember the full speech, but he says, from that young kid who committed that terrible crime, like, he's owning all of it in that moment in a real way of, like, I did this thing and I wish I wouldn't have, but I did it. It was me that did that at 20 or whatever I was, hot-headed and stupid. I made a stupid-ass mistake that blew my whole life apart.
Right.
And he was always like that. I mean, he was only guilty man in
Only
Shawshank.
guilty man in
Yeah.
Shawshank. Yep.
Yeah, he owned his stuff from the very beginning, And actually, the truthful guy was also Andy, because he said from the very beginning, how he was innocent and all that other stuff,
Yeah.
and after he
Nobody
got out
ever
of the hole,
believed
how
him. Yeah.
he really did kill his wife. He may not have done it, but he
Lawyer
yeah.
fuck
Didn't-
me.
didn't-
We're
yeah.
playing catch.
Lawyer Floyd. Yeah.
lawyer fuck
Lawyer
me.
Only guilty man. Oh, you're gonna fit in around here. He's like, hey, what you in for? Lawyer, fuck me. Hilarious.
With the fresh fish. If I was going to prison and they would do that fresh fish thing,
Oh, dude.
I'd be freaking
I would
out.
shit my pants.
I would definitely be that
Yeah.
guy.
Good
That's
defense
like,
for
I'm
Yeah.
not supposed to
For
be
sure,
here.
yeah.
I mean, that would number one be me
Hurry up,
first
shit yourself.
night. Oh my! I mean, I would be dead.
The sisters are coming.
Yeah.
Here you go. Shit
I'll
your
be
Eat a
pants.
ramen sandwich and shit myself.
I'd be like, no, I did that shit. Fuck that guy.
What? Here's something. What are y'all having Red smuggle into prison? I mean, if you're gonna go to Red for anything, what are you gonna have Red smuggle in for you?
That was a hard question.
Is that-
Mine's actually like not a good answer. But
Is it this time? Is it that time frame or
I mean,
modern?
right now.
Like right now.
Right now.
Cell
like
phone.
if you're in the pokey right now and you got a Red, what are you going to him
I
for?
said what I wrote down, and it's not serious at all. But I was like, a little puppy.
Puppy.
He's a little puppy. I'm like,
That's the sweetest answer I've
they
ever
can have
heard.
the dude
Yeah.
can have a fucking bird.
Can
I
you
was like,
please
why can't I
give me
have
a-
a fucking dog,
Yeah,
man?
puppy
Have
in it.
fucking
That's a
dog.
good
I'm
answer,
gonna cut a
man.
hole in the Bible, especially for the puppy, and just
little
put the
puppy.
puppy in there.
You got to go in there
Like
at
a little
night.
kidney bean.
My granddad, when I was a kid, had a dog that would like whisper. He would bark normal, and he'd be like, "Shh." His name was Rags. He was a poodle, and I swear to God, he would bark softer. So maybe you could teach him to like.
You can
bark
do
softer.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
I do that to Goose. Goose is like, woof, woof, and like we're out the door, and I'm like inside, and he's like, woof.
Yeah, that's what Rags would do. It's really cool.
The only
Like, you
thing I
fucking
can think
asshole.
of,
They know.
you know, with the whole smuggling thing was coffee.
I think it would
I
help.
like,
Coffee,
I
huh?
like, yeah.
Anything you can have ever.
Because I mean, that would be one of the first things that came to mind. Because I don't like shit coffee, and we just ate a ramen fucking sandwich. So
Yeah.
imagine what their coffee is going to be like.
It's probably
gonna
not
be,
good.
It's going to be dog shit,
But you-
like pure
Maxwell
dog
House.
shit.
I think for me, it would be music,
When,
but I would need a thing to play it on.
Right.
So that becomes more complicated.
Disney.
But if it's modern, can you get me an iPod Shuffle up in this bitch?
I thought about the music
That
thing.
I still have, I
Yeah,
still have
but
one.
it was kind of like, how would you charge it?
Sure.
You know,
Just put it in
and
your,
I mean,
your back purse,
I guarantee.
but put it in your prison wallet.
your prison
I
wallet.
Put it in your old
guarantee you.
prison
There's. I
wallet.
guarantee you. There's some prison way to
South
charge.
Yeah, apparently they
South
don't
Mouth's
have
my
have
favorite
prison
one.
wallets in freaking Norman Rockwell prison either, because I mean none of them mentioned smuggling anything in their ass.
I mean, that
it
they
came
didn't.
in a blanket.
I've-
You
I've,
know?
I've got a list of things
Oh
I
shit!
want to
Oh,
smuggle.
shit.
Oh, here we go.
Okay. Hall's cough drops.
Your dad? Are
No.
you smuggling your dad into prison?
What?
Bold move if
No,
you do.
no.
You need a best friend. You need a best friend for your life sentence.
Hall's cough drops because I need them when I get nervous and I get dry throat a lot.
Oh my god!
I'm picky about pens, so Bic Velocity and composition notebooks.
That probably wouldn't be contraband. I don't think they would give two shits.
Because I was
going
going to say
Maybe.
drawing stuff, but I would have access to that.
Right, right.
I think it's got to be something for sleep because I can't go to prison because I'd have a hard time sleeping.
I need a box fan, dude.
Maybe I
we're
don't.
gonna smuggle some melatonin.
Maybe I just tunnel my wallet at night, or maybe I get addicted to crack.
Dude,
that's
definitely get addicted.
but
to
that's
crack.
yeah, that's my
Bug
red
crack.
smuggle stuff.
Dude, you can do all that in the military. You know
Yeah.
that.
I got Red smuggling some melatonin up in this bitch. We're gonna be all right.
I think I need like
you know?
I think a Xanax or something.
Or like some
Yeah.
earplugs. That'd probably be good.
Oh, you'd be.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I
You'd
don't
be
want to hear.
fucked.
You wouldn't even hear
Oh.
fresh fish.
Yeah,
you
I
just
don't
be
want-
like sleeping tight.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, you don't hear them sneaking up on you. bro.
Yeah, you don't hear them sneaking
Yeah.
into your, having them
Yeah.
open your cell door and,
that's why I sleep with one eye
That's
open.
southbound.
and
assault.
exploring your prison wallet.
Nice.
Jeez.
Cool.
cool, cool. Very cool.
Tight. The Vahemia is nature's pocket. Hopefully you're.
Brooks had to be sacrificed in this
Yeah.
movie
So did
and
Tom.
released for Warden to get Andy like into all the schemes because like oh you're like kind of like his assistant.
Sure,
Now you're like
right,
full
yeah.
librarian and every time I take a test I think of Tommy and I'm
didn't-
bombing it.
I didn't think of it like that.
I'm like, I'm taking the GRE, and I was like, 9 times 9 is 49, or whatever the hell
Yeah,
9
yeah,
times
yeah.
9 is.
Cats and
Cats
trees.
coming up trees.
Apples and bananas.
That scene's so funny because he loses his shit. He's cool the whole movie.
It's yeah, he's super cool, and then he's like, yeah. So that's great. When Andy's in the hole for 2 months, do you think he's making his plans to get the hell out like ASAP? It's like, oh, when I get out, I have to be.
Who knows how long he's had that tunnel ready to rock?
Dude, 20 years apparently. Well, you say it, like we could spec like
Right.
I don't know, right?
Yeah.
I don't.
It was like right after he got out that he had that encounter with Red, and the last time Red saw him was right before Homeboy
I
left.
think based off the conversations he's had about hope.
Yeah.
Red, nope, hope doesn't exist. Things they can't take away from you. I had Beethoven or Mozart or whatever the fuck it was. Whoa, how'd you get that? In my head. The dude just like couldn't be broken. So I'm not saying that was not hard time in a low point for him in that movie but as far as like the plans are finalized, I'm getting the fuck out of this bit. I don't think so, man. I think he was playing the long game sort of the whole way. Maybe that became fleshed out more when he did replace Brooks and got involved more. And I didn't pick up on that when you said that. Well, Brooks had to be sacrificed. I didn't look at it like that. I looked at it as Brooks is elderly at this point. Somebody has to keep that job going. Of course, obviously there's a ulterior motive or whatever with his education is cooking the books and all that stuff. But I guess my answer is no. I don't think that he was like just I'm finalizing the thing. I think he either had that going already.
Mm-hmm.
I think Andy still gets out if he doesn't replace Brooks. Like he still
right, yeah,
he still
right,
solves
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
That just made it more convenient for him.
I think the time in the hole was how he hatched the plan to bring everything together on the outside.
On the outside.
On the outside. Because I think honestly that he had the tunnel dug and he was just finalizing stuff.
But you say,
on how to get out and plan everything.
But you say that he was already, before he went into the hole, I believe, maybe I'm wrong, he had already told Red they're in the library and he's like, it's a made-up guy. The money's going here and there, and I have a driver's license and a birth certificate and all of that. That had already, I thought he had already thought about how he's going to, quote-unquote, make it on the outside with the money laundering part of that. I can't even say
to get more
post
like
hole on, you know what I mean? Like
to get more abstract though, like one of the things that delivers on that you probably don't think about till later is when Andy and Red get out and find each other again, they're still the people that they were. Andy's not broken, and he's a very
he can't be
introspective guy.
Broken.
He needs like singular existence to be like mentally healthy. I think his time in the hole was how he survived his time at Shawshank. Like, if I get in trouble or I get the shit beat out of me and I'm in the hole, I'm not out there getting tortured. I'm not out there dealing with the noise of prison. Things that I've read about, like life in prison or whatever, that I know because I'm trying to pay attention to things that would be hard for me as a person. The level of like noise and no time to myself would be really hard for me. That was hard for Andy, I think, based on the kind of person that he was. He needed that time in the hole to not lose his fucking mind, like completely. Whether he was planning in there or not, I don't know. That dude could have been sitting in their yoga pose for 30 days, waking up and sleeping just alone with his thoughts.
And then another 30 days just to think about.
Right.
Yeah.
That's just who that guy is, I think. He's crazy if you leave him out in general pop and he doesn't end up in the hole, I think.
Yeah.
But maybe not.
What movie would you want to watch every night for a week in prison? Like, because they do the same movie every night for like a week.
Is the Shawshank Redemption on the table?
I guess if you want to, yeah.
I think don't do that though because
No, yeah. We can't do that. Shit, Tombstone.
Every night.
Tombstone would be on there for me.
I'd be like,
they're showing it. You can like pop in and see
Good-ass movie.
Tombstone at any point in time.
there's no
you know,
chicks
that
in
would,
these.
that
This
would-
is
that
the only
would be
time I
cool.
get to see a chick.
That would be cool.
Oh yeah, I didn't
wouldn't be
think
mad
about that.
Yeah,
Could it be
yeah.
anything?
Y'all are a bunch of
I
gay
had a
boys,
big
so.
thing for Dana Delaney when I was young. Dana Delaney, she plays Wyatt Earp's love interest in Tombstone. So I mean, she was.
Is she the one that was addicted to?
No.
Morphine?
She was the showgirl. She was the long black curly haired showgirl.
I
I guess that sang.
mine would either. Well, I gotta pick one. I don't want to do the douchey thing and say mine would either be. In this moment, I'm gonna say Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh, that's
Ooh.
good.
I could watch
That's
that
good.
forever.
That is good. That's a good.
Oh, Pulp Fiction.
That's
Pulp Fiction. I could bomb in and watch that at any
Dude,
point in
mine
time.
would have like realistically, it'd probably be a comedy, man. Like
yeah. So what's it gonna be though?
These
Super Troopers.
Super Bad, Super Troopers. They're both up there.
Monty
like,
Python and the Holy Grail.
over and over and over and over again.
Oh, fuck off! Are
I
you
know,
serious?
dude. You're either one of those guys that loves that movie and thinks it's
boss is
hilarious,
that guy.
or you're me. I appreciate it. I get it. That's a whole other podcast.
my God.
I'm not sitting there laughing at it though.
What movie?
Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
It's not funny. To
It's
me
just
like
a flesh
that.
wound.
Yeah.
I get why it's funny. It's just not my sense.
Oh
of
my
humor.
God! Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I need
Shots fired.
Man,
I need
I'm
more
telling
trailer
you,
park. I need
there
more
was-
trailer park in my humor. That's too fucking highbrow for me.
He's
don't
like,
know.
I get why people eat
I get
ramen
why.
prison
I
sandwiches.
get why people like. I get why people
It's
like
just not for me.
Metallica. I just don't own any of their albums. What's yours?
Top Gun Maverick and Point Break.
Fuck.
You can't
That's
pick
pretty
two.
good.
I,
All right.
I
That's
just
pretty
did.
good.
Point Break's a good one.
I just did.
Well, if we're picking two, mine would be that and The Burbs.
Oh,
Eh,
Burbs.
I could watch both of
Yeah,
those
I can
forever.
watch the Burbs. I can watch. Yeah.
I can Stand By Me.
Yeah.
I could bomb in and watch Stand
Ah,
By
dude,
Me.
that's too like. You gotta take your mind off all the bullshit, and you're just like
He-
you're going
yeah,
straight
he is
into
like
Dude,
some
that's
heavy
like,
shit.
There's
God
so
damn,
much.
dude.
There's so much cool
You're like,
shit in
Shawshank
Stand By
on the
Me.
list. Like, I don't want to watch a movie about prison when I'm in prison.
I'm in prison. Yeah.
I know.
Oh,
Actually, Shawshank probably looks fucking good compared to like actual prison.
Yeah,
no, it does.
This is the Norman Rockwell version of it.
The jerk.
Oh, the jerk would be wonderful.
Dirty Rotten
That's-
Scoundrels.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, that's a good
Fish
one.
Called Wanda. We could do this all day.
Yeah.
we could do that
For sure.
Let's get to our top five. Our top five
Oh,
I gotta
prison
pee
convict
real
I have
quick.
some,
movies.
I have some
Oh.
great ones on here.
Yeah.
But my phone's at 12%, so I have to go first.
All right.
Oh, God.
All right. Top 5 prison/convict movies.
All right. Number one for me, nobody's seen this. Maybe Scotty's seen it. Tough Guys with Michael
Wow.
Douglas's dad, Kirk Douglas, and I'm going to forget his name. He was an older actor.
That one guy.
Great
you
great
have-
actor, handsome dude. They play. It takes place in the early 80s. It's the first appearance of Red Hot Chili Peppers. They play old train robbers that have just got out of prison, and they are not adjusting well. And they're Red and Andy, and they're like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's rob this train. There's a train that's going through town. It's got millions of dollars on it. They're gonna rob it. It's a great movie. If you've never seen it, watch it. Another
never- yeah.
old guy criminals movie came out not too long ago. I feel like no one saw it. The cast: Alan Arkin, Christopher Walken,
Al Pacino.
Al Pacino, stand-up guys.
Oh, I've
Fucking
seen that.
awesome
I have
movie.
not seen that.
Is that like
Never
is that
even
like
heard
they
of it.
the night, but they're gonna have to whack him at the end of the
Yeah,
night?
Pacino goes to prison and does his time, and Walken is his best friend, and Pacino's getting out, and the mob boss is like, you got to kill him. I know he was in there, and he talked. Kill him when he comes out.
Wow.
So he's the guy that
That's a
picks him up for
stellar
prison. They
fucking
love each
cast,
other,
too, man.
and he's got to kill him at the end of 24 hours. Before the sun rises the next day, he's got to be dead.
Wow.
Watch that movie. It's amazing.
Collateral.
Stand-up guys. All right.
In the 90s, great cast, Disorganized Crime. Lou Diamond Phillips, a fucking
Wow.
great movie. It's about a bunch of criminals that set up to rob a bank in a small Montana town. It's got the guy that played, I always forget his name, he played Al Bundy.
Ed O'Neill.
Yep,
Ed
Ed
O'Neill,
O'Neill.
yeah.
He's the lead detective. Stellar movie. American History X. And Longest Yard, the Sandler version.
Well done. The Sandler version.
Mine is
Two
No
out
offense,
of 5
Burt
on mine,
Reynolds.
fucker.
Sorry. That's why I wanted to go first.
I've got Shawshank. I've got Logan Lucky with Channing Tatum and Adam Driver. It's a Steve Soderbergh movie, and it's like they break Daniel
When that come
Craig
out?
I saw that movie.
like 4 or 5 years ago.
It was
Yeah.
good. It was good.
Like Daniel Craig, they break Daniel Craig out of prison to do this job, and then get him back into the prison
They're
before anyone
brothers, right?
notices. They're not brothers with him, but like they like have him. Adam Driver and Channing Tatum are.
Yeah.
But like they like orchestrate this whole like prison lockdown situation where they're like trying to negotiate with the warden, and they're trying to draw it out so that Daniel Craig can be out there getting this job done. And they're asking for like this book, the Game of Thrones book that George R.R. Martin hasn't finished yet.
Oh, wow.
And it's like, hey,
He's never gonna
well,
finish
hey,
Winds of
what
Winter?
this says, I think it's Dwight Yoakam as the warden. He's like, this book
That's
is not
hilarious.
available yet. That's bullshit. The show is doing this. It's like, yeah, the show is doing stuff because they went past the books. So it's like that book has not come out. We can't give you that.
That's
and it's
hilarious.
so that's like a hilarious like prison scene. I like Tango and Cash.
Oh, yeah,
Kurt
dude.
Russell and Sylvester Stallone are cops, and they go to prison, and like Kurt Russell, his cellmate, he's about to like piss, and like the guy like puts his leg up, and he's like, that's my crapper. He's like, and what am I supposed to use? Like, I don't give a shit. And then like, he's like, well, let me get one thing straight. And like, he turns around and says, this big guy, and he's like, that is yours. But like, then he's in the, you know, they're all that. I think that prison stuff is like really good. Cool Hand Luke with Paul Newman.
Oh, you son of a
classic.
bitch!
Almost classic.
You
James
son of a
already
bitch.
talked about it. I was like,
everyone's gonna say Cool Hand
fucking
Luke.
Cool
I'm
Hand
not. I've
Luke.
never seen it. I don't even know.
I
what
was
it
hope
is.
everyone was
Couldn't
gonna
tell you.
forget that.
Great movie.
Oh my god, that's
There's this
definitely
movie
one of
called
mine.
Escape Plan with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Stallone, where they're
My
trying to get
brother
off this.
mentioned that movie. Yeah.
It's like I think the
He said
prison's
it's
on a
great.
boat. I think it's on like a ship. Honorable mention: Goodfellas, the prison scene
Yeah,
where
I
they're
was
like
gonna say-
making they're making
I was
the
thinking
license
say
plate.
Goodfellas.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Goodfellas.
Yeah.
Where it's like a hotel in
Yeah,
there.
there's like
Yeah.
it's like doing
Crossed my
time and
mind.
isn't
Like,
really like
here's
doing
the
time when you're a
salami
make guy.
and
Yeah,
Logan Lucky.
yeah.
I gotta watch that.
Logan
man.
Lucky's great.
Is that yours?
I got my five. That's my
All
five.
right.
My honorable mention.
Ben,
yeah.
Ben, you up?
Yeah,
All right, man.
I'm up. You're gonna be so I'm gonna adjust mine at this point because two of mine are gone. But I'm gonna say some. I want.
Wait,
okay.
which ones did I pick that were yours?
Okay, so number 5 I had Longest Yard.
Okay.
Number 4 I had It's Not at All The Rock.
Oh,
Dude, that's a good movie.
Oh,
snap.
that is good. I'll count. Yeah,
I
yeah.
had number 3 Green
Michael
Mile.
Yeah.
I had number 2 American History X, and I had number 1 Papillon. And So, are y'all familiar? You gotta be fucking kidding. That's my number 1 by like this.
Hey, this is a first on the pod.
So-
like Ben,
Yeah.
Ben's
So,
educating us on
there's
a movie.
Papillon. It came out in 1973, and I had I had watched it young. These guys get caught up. It was way back in the day. They're from France. They go to French Guiana, and that's where it's a colony. It's a penal colony.
Okay.
It had a major impact on me when I was young.
Why
Like,
did you see this? Like,
I don't know why. I don't know where I saw it.
It's probably
They
just on TV
remade
or
it.
something.
They remade it with Rami Malek in 2017.
Wow.
And it's fucking good. Like, they're on a ship and like people are like fucking murdering each other
I'm
on a
watching
ship
that
to
tonight.
French Guiana. And it's like one of those deals where like Rami Malek, I think like they just, like I said, it's an island. It's not like it's a colony. It's not
Sure.
like necessarily like you're not going anywhere, right? Well, they end up hatching a plan to escape and all this stuff like that. Dude, out of all of the things we talk, it has to be, aside from Shawshank, maybe Green Mile, it's like the quintessential, like, this is a fucking prison movie.
Count of Monte Cristo?
I almost fucking put that down, and then I
We
was
should
like,
file that in
but I was like,
educational,
well, they
oughtn't we?
referenced it. They referenced it in
Shawshank.
Shawshank, you know, and I was like, oh, because it's a similar type of deal, man. Anyway, Papillon, both versions.
Great.
If someone's watching now, some fucking Redditor person or whatever, they're gonna be like, don't watch the remake. It's fucking
Sure.
garbage.
They'll say the same
I'm
thing about
telling
The
you,
Longest Yard.
I like the remake better than the fucking first one. I
Same
know
thing
it's
with Longest
classic.
Yard.
I fucking get it. It holds up or whatever, but I'm telling you, like, they're like, I don't know, man. Just go watch that movie. Don't sit on that one. That's
Papillon.
a good ass fucking movie, dude.
Okay.
Papillon.
Sold
I'm
me.
all about it.
What do you got, Joel?
All right, since American History X has been said 19,000 times because that was it. I'm gonna go ahead and sub it for fucking Con Air.
Oh,
I
I mean,
mean, that's good.
I thought
Dude,
that was
it
good.
was.
That's
I
good.
figured it was low hanging fruit,
That's
but
good.
that's
No,
it's
that
so
Con Air-
campy.
Con Air's a classic.
Con
It-
Air's
the
great.
freaking cast is wonderful, and it's just, I don't know. It's just great. Con Air's fucking wonderful.
It's easy, yeah.
All right,
it's easy.
and passing into that, I'm going in Raising Arizona.
Great movie.
Oh,
Okay.
Because
yeah,
I mean,
okay.
because you at first, you got the guys escaping at the very beginning of it.
Also, you love
and,
Nicolas
yeah,
Cage.
and that.
Yeah.
The funny thing about it is that answer infuriated my wife so fucking much because she thinks Raising Arizona is like one of the dumbest movies.
A
in
lot
the
of people
world.
don't get that movie.
And yeah, it's straight
right.
Coen Brothers magic is what that shit
Goodman's
is.
amazing.
It's great.
It always is.
I'm keeping Cool Hand Luke on there because fuck all y'all.
That's a great movie.
Cool
Oh,
Hand
man,
Luke.
I never-
There's nothing in the top
Dude.
five that like
Said
it can't be used
It's-
again.
Man, I know, but I don't like to rehash
We're trying
stuff.
not to say
Yeah.
the same ones.
Been through his fucking notebook because James got two
Yeah.
of his, but Cool Hand Luke, dude, Paul Newman's a fucking icon, man. And that was
Good
that was
salad
so
dressing, too.
Yeah,
and
good, great.
this is a recent one, Palmer, with Justin Timberlake. It's on Apple TV. If y'all haven't seen it, fucking go and watch it.
A movie?
It is,
It's a movie?
Yes,
Or
it's
a
called
show?
Palmer.
Or is it an album?
No, it's a movie. Justin Timberlake's in it, and it's got that girl from Ted Lasso.
Juno Temple?
Who dates the she's like the blonde. She's the head
Juno
of the
Temple.
marketing company. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, she's in it, but she's like this skanky kind of mom.
Yeah. All right.
Oh,
And-
yeah.
And dude, watch Palmer. It's on Apple TV. Justin Timberlake is wonderful in this movie.
Palmer, Lucky Logan,
Yeah,
and
Palmer's
Papillon.
great.
Those are three.
It will
Either
blow
one.
y'all's mind. And
remake.
the last one is Murder in the First.
Oh, with Kevin
And,
Bacon.
Yeah, that was
Never
dude.
saw it.
It's good.
That was it has one of the most vicious kill scenes you're ever gonna see in like a prison movie.
Man,
And
Dog, I don't
it's
know.
about
Pap-
Alcatraz
Papillon-
and stuff like that too. And it's
I don't know, man.
it's fucking great.
You know what we didn't mention that I thought I intentionally left it off my list because everyone was going to
It's
put
like
it was
so-
Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Oh,
so
shit.
so Sarah runner up. We had Life with Eddie Murphy,
Oh, good ass
Oh, okay.
movie.
and also Blood In Blood Out.
Oh,
Hell
people
yeah.
love Blood In, Blood
Hell
Out.
yeah.
Wait,
Hell
was
yeah.
that Patrick Swayze?
Hell yeah.
Y'all continue on.
What posters are covering your escape tunnel in prison?
Nah, shit. There was two that I remember from my childhood distinctly, and one of them was the Led Zeppelin "Stairway to Heaven" poster, and it's got like this wizard kind of guy like looking down, and it's got the Stairway lyrics on it. I remember that specifically, and it's not like a spank bank poster, kind of
What?
kind of like what Andy
Spank
had.
bank.
Yeah, well, Andy always had like the chicks on his
yeah,
walls
yeah.
and
Raquel
stuff.
Welch
And, yeah,
and,
but my posters aren't like that.
Rita
The other one
Smith,
is Michael
Rita
Jordan, and I had him like dunking over like Carl Malone
Patrick
or
Ewing,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah,
James
yeah.
definitely had that.
I
poster.
found the exact one, and we'll
I had the one with Charles Barkley
we'll sync 'em
and
up.
Godzilla.
That's that's good.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
good.
Jordan dunking and Stairway to
Yeah.
Heaven would be my two.
What do you got, Ben?
So Sarah's over here. I'll pull it up for the pod. So we'll do a runner up. So mine, this is hard. I'm like, I don't know. I had the X-Files I Want to Believe
Oh,
with like the alien, but runner up Sarah is what is that? Little Kim's album art,
Oh my god!
and it's it is dirty. And we'll pull it up right now.
yeah.
But yeah, that's where I'm at with that. Yeah, I don't know.
James.
Mine's probably gonna be like movie posters for movies.
My
I like.
cousin
Big-
Vinny, Marissa
big-
Tomei.
It'll either
My
be
cousin Vinny.
like throughout the years, right? It's gonna be like Big Trouble in Little China, Encino Man, Ghostbusters, whatever.
Dog's
the
in prison
juice.
his whole life. He's like Encino Man.
movie posters or nerdy like comic posters, like Wizard magazine. When I was a kid, they would always have like inserts of posters. And I still have a lot of them. I kept them. I would take them out of the magazine and like take the staples out real careful to not rip them.
Oh yeah.
So probably comic book posters. Nothing specific.
my posters.
Oh, Scotty's real specific on. He brought
Aw, shit.
visual
Here
examples.
we go.
Now I know your passcode. Your whole life is
It's gonna
mine.
be goddamn. Who's the CEO of
This is
Apple?
the-
That guy,
the-
I
Tim
just have
Cook.
The Janet Jackson 1993
Oh.
Rolling Stone cover.
Yeah,
Oh,
for
Nice.
sure.
It's like the
nice.
the sexiest thing
Son,
ever.
Yeah, that's up there.
Julia Roberts in the Pretty Woman superstar era.
Great.
Not bad.
There's another Julia Roberts
Yeah,
one.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I think that I had a double.
Scotty
yeah.
likes Julia
Total,
Roberts.
total,
I guess.
total smoke show.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Leisure Rules.
Took a left
That's
turn.
what you're doing in prison.
Took a left turn. Mine's the Michael Jackson Thriller cover.
I'm here for you, Matthew.
Oh,
And
for
then
sure.
like the Pulp Fiction poster.
That's
Pulp
nice.
Fiction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are my posters.
Iconic.
If they had a poster of Megan Fox and Transformers,
Ooh.
maybe that would be up there. I don't know, man.
It's,
I don't
we
know.
get-
you
can we
I don't
mean,
think it's real.
You
I
mean
don't
the
think it's
one
real.
where she's like leaned over under the
Yeah.
hood of that
course,
car?
that's
Yeah, we all know what we're talking
Can we
about.
get Demi
Joel.
Moore from Disclosure? They make a poster of that.
Disclosure.
Or Demi Moore in striptease when
That's
Showgirls.
That's
You're
two
changing your answer to
That's two
Showgirl.
showgirls mentioned in the same podcast, dude.
I've never
Jeez.
fucking
Have you seen
When- when
Showgirl?
I've never
she's
seen that.
It's like-
flogging like
Yes,
a
you have.
dolphin
It's like
in the
a-
fucking
It's
swimming
It's
pool.
like a cult movie now.
It's so bad.
Is-
It-
Oh,
it-
it's
its time
horrible.
has come.
Everyone showed up to watch it because they heard the chick from Saved by the Bell took her top off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jessie Spelling, that's her character name.
Seeing
Just-
her in the pool really killed anything I had for her because she was flailing like a fucking dolphin.
I was like, what's
Just-
that movie? Goddamn, Pin 15. Wild Things.
Yeah.
Where it's like
With Nev Campbell.
That was an
and-
awakening
Nev
moment.
Campbell,
sir.
Dude,
Fucking-
it's like a religious
Oh
thing in
my
an episode.
God.
and like,
If you've
Wild
never
Things.
seen Pen 15, it's a hilarious show. Please go
Pin
watch it.
that on
1-5
Hulu?
to some people.
It's so
on the
great.
Hulu.
Pin one.
Yeah, it's on the Hulu.
Oh, dude, yeah, that's good.
You grew up in the 2000s.
Okay.
It's so great.
Doggy bag. What are you taking home from the Shawshank Redemption?
I definitely don't ever want to be in prison. That's it.
Or even if you get to eat that delicious sandwich
Nope.
anytime that you
I'm all
want.
Especially,
set.
that's why.
No,
I can
that's-
hire a personal chef to make that if I wanted.
Yeah, man, that's just iconic storytelling, wonderful casting, and it's a flawless movie to me. I don't think that I would have too many flawless movies on my list. That's definitely one of them, and I can never find anything wrong with it. It never, there's not a lull. Casting's perfect. Writing's phenomenal. It's a great movie, and it would be hard to keep it off, the number one on a top 5 list, period. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so many times like for me, I try to intentionally not pick the thing that's obviously the number one choice, right?
Mhm.
If we're talking about a thing, I'll try to find a thing that I can say that'd be like, well, I know everyone was going to pick this, but I picked this, and everyone's like, oh, yeah, I forgot how good that was.
Mm-hmm.
Shawshank is the stereotypical answer. There's so many people now that are going to be like, the best movie I've ever seen is Shawshank Redemption, because it's the best fucking movie you've ever
Mhm.
seen. There's nothing wrong with it.
No.
That's my doggy bag. It's perfect. Good job, Mark, for getting cast in this movie.
Damn straight.
oh yeah, Mark Ralston, our guy. Yeah.
I forgot about
Um,
Mark.
When
Friend of the pod.
Doggy bag, they did everything they could to break Andy, and they couldn't. Hope kept them from breaking him. We all have to hold on to that because it's so easy to let this stuff break you in like real life. And that's why this movie resonates. And that's really what Frank Darabont did. He didn't cash out and give in to money and pressure from Rob Reiner and that, hey, let's do this. Let's do this. I wrote this. I'm doing this. So some of the best stories are the ones where people like bet on themselves. And I think that's like what's incredible about this movie.
He pulled a Stallone.
Yeah,
Stallone, yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Do you
Th-
think,
this was his Rocky?
in all seriousness, right? You're Darabont, but like it's you. You've written, like, think of a thing that you've read that you're like, oh, whatever, and someone is like, yeah, this is really good. We want to make this. Here's $3 million. Get the fuck out. Like, what do you do? What do you think you really do?
In that business,
I'm saying no, not even that. Like,
Yeah.
now like, what do you do? I take $3 million.
Yeah, 30-year-old me would definitely have taken the $3 million.
I think 43-year-old me would take $3 million.
I
Yeah.
probably would take the money, man. To be honest,
I want to believe that I wouldn't, but I think I would.
I don't know.
We're all a bunch of fucking sellouts.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's what
It's sad.
that's what the system's done to us.
Yeah.
We used to be dreamers.
We're institutionalized.
We're institutionalized. And
I would think that in that business, having made that script and having got that money, that's just going to attract more.
maybe.
And so,
But this is one shot. It's like fucking 8 Mile.
well, that's how he took it. That's how he Eminem'd that shit.
Yeah.
But
But that gets different.
he could have went
40,
and 50 cented that shit and just
at
made
the ages most
hit
of
the
us
club
are
and
not
then
been.
cashed out.
But now, for sure. Like, the older you get, you're for sure taking the money. Right? At 30, maybe you're like, yeah, nah, I can do this.
No, I'm gonna have a lot of looks. I'm
Right.
gonna do this. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for being on the show, guys. It was a delight. If you like this show, please like and subscribe on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your locally grown podcasts. You can also like and subscribe our YouTube channel, Mac and Cheese Movies, where we have entire episode videos. You can also follow us on TikTok. We're going to be ramping up content there, and it's going to be very exciting. Get busy living or get busy dying. That's goddamn right. Mac and Cheese, out.